Here's how you can add the floating effect to your animations in CapCut. Let's start by saying that there are two ways to do it, depending on what you need to edit. You can either animate the object manually or use a pre-made effect. The pre-made effect will surely be a quicker option, yet it won't allow you to have as much control over the object you're editing as you would by animating it yourself. For example, if we're editing a simple scene where we need a bunch of objects to just float on the screen for a while, using the pre-made effect will be a much better choice. Instead, in a different scenario, where we're editing a scene and dealing with more complex animations, it may be better to add the effect manually, so we have more control over it. Anyway, in this video we'll teach you both methods, so you can choose which one to use. Let's start by learning how to manually animate the effect ourselves. If you've seen our previous videos on animations in CapCut, this will be pretty easy, because we're going to use keyframes to make the object move and float. For the others who don't know, keyframes are basically markers that we use to set the object in a certain position at a certain time on the timeline. In this case, to create the floating effect, we're going to make the alien move up and down slightly in a regular pattern. So we're going to set multiple keyframes at the same distance from each other. To set each keyframe, check this dot in the top right corner. Then to move exactly where we want on the timeline, we can use the arrows on our keyboard. Let's set one every 10 frames. Now the position for every keyframe is set to 0 and 0. We're going to change the Y value from 0 on one frame to 30 on the second one and back to 0 on the third one, and so on. This way the alien moves up and down in a regular pattern. But still, it's a little robotic, so we have to make it smoother. So right-click on the clip and select Show Keyframe Animation. This way, we can see in detail all the layers where the object can move. We've only edited the Y layer, so let's go there. Now you can see the pattern with all the keyframes. To add smoothness, we're simply going to check the Auto Curve box right here for each keyframe. Let's see what we got. Not bad. Now, as we said earlier, this method allows us to have complete control over the object. We can leave it as it is, or make it a compound clip, slow it down, and move the alien around. Really whatever we want. Anyway, let's now see how to use the pre-made floating effect. This time, we're going to animate more objects in a scene, so you can see why this method is better for these situations. Let's head over to the Effects menu and search for the Swing effect. We have a few options to choose from, yet the best one is the Play Pendulum effect right here. We could simply add the effect to the timeline above all the clips, but it's going to make all the objects float and move as one, so is not that good. By adding it to each clip instead, we get a better result, and we can change the settings for each one. We don't really care about the twist and sharpen options, so turn them down, or at least make sure that they don't mess too much with the object. Instead, we want to get the strength and speed right. The strength indicates how much the object moves around. We don't want it too high. The speed indicates how fast it moves. We don't want that too high either. Let's do the same thing for the other clips. Let's add an entrance animation, just for fun. And that's it. We can use this same method to animate text, also like we did in the intro, just by using compound clips for the single letters. These are just some examples of how you can use this effect. You can also combine both methods and really get creative with it. But for today, let's stop here. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and make sure to check out this other one too. See you there.